in coincidence of chronic inflammation. It's oh shit. Damn, bro, I'm low key fucking. This shit fucked me up, bro. I'm low key tearing up. I'm not gonna lie. Woo! Hey, what is up, everybody? It's your boy CJ Papuro, and welcome back to my channel. I'm doing something a little new today. Today, I wanted to talk about, did I give myself Crohn's disease? Is it possible to give somebody Crohn's disease, or to get Crohn's disease, or give yourself Crohn's disease? Let's talk about it. All right, let's run through my little process, my little thought process. So the other day to the gym, and let's just start from the beginning. I feel like I've always given myself ulcerative colitis because of my heavy drinking inside the military. I learned something that further supports that idea. This weekend I went to the and when I got out the gym, I wanted to drink like a protein shake, and the only protein shake I had at home was Naked Mass from Naked Nutrition, and that has something called maltodextrin inside of it. Maltodextrin is a white, starchy powder that manufacturers add into many foods to improve their flavor, thickness, or shelf life. Maltodextrin is a common ingredient in packaged foods such as pastries, candies, and soft drinks. When it is present, it is usually featured on the food label. All right. So the mass gainer I was drinking is Naked Mass. Okay, if I could find it here. Okay, Naked Mass. I have that at home, and the reason I chose this vegan mass gainer is because I have ulcerative colitis, and if you don't know what ulcerative colitis is, bam, ulcerative colitis is a condition which is an inflammatory bowel disease. Okay, there are two different conditions. Inflammatory bowel disease is a term for two conditions, which I just stated, Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis, that are characterized by chronic inflammation of the GI tract. Prolonged inflammation results in damage to the GI tract. Some of the differences between Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis is down here. Okay, I'm gonna start with Crohn's disease first. Crohn's disease can affect any part of the GI tract from the mouth to the anus. Most often, it affects the portion of the small intestines before the large intestine and colon. So this is your mouth. It can affect anywhere from your mouth to your anus. Okay, and it can affect anywhere in patches, right? And then it shows right here, it says damaged area appears in patches that are next to areas of healthy tissue. Inflammation may reach through multiple layers of the walls of the GI tract. Yeah, that's another thing. It can be in patches through like healthy excuse me. Let me drink some water because I'm over here struggling. God damn. All right. If you guys haven't, drop a like, comment, help your boy out, YouTube algorithm shit. But let's get back to the video. You see how it affects stuff in patches, right? And it's next to healthy things. I think what that is like, don't you feel like prolonged inflammation could also cause, you know, manifestations outside of Crohn's? That's happened to people with Crohn's disease, and I've seen it happen. And then I'm gonna go on ulcerative colitis, and it occurs in the large intestine, colon, and rectum. Here it is. This is a large intestine. This is a small intestine. This is your rectum slash colon and anus. Okay, where am I at? Where am I at? Taking this out. Damaged areas are continuous, not patchy. You see, it's continuous and patchy. Your disease starts at, yeah, I think it starts at the colon anus, and then it progresses, or depending on where it starts, it progresses backwards. Depending on, how fast and stuff like that, you might need to get surgery to get that part taken out. So usually starting at the rectum and spreading further into the colon. Inflammation is presented only in the innermost layer, lining of the colon. Yeah, it's only in the innermost layer. I'm going to go ahead and and look up the symptoms differently because I know even though they're both under the umbrella term IBD, there are some differences in symptoms. All right, so let's go ahead and look up the Mayo Clinic. And diarrhea, fever, fatigue, abdominal pain and cramping, blood and stool, mouth sores, reducing appetite and weight loss, pain, drainage near and around the anus due to inflammation from a tunnel in the skin, fistula. Yeah, I've heard of fistulas and fissures. Those are like small holes or cracks in your colon, and they cause a great deal of pain. People with Crohn's disease may also experience inflammation of the skins, eyes, and joints, inflammation of the liver, bile ducts. Okay, well, I'm not about to give you guys a history lesson, education lesson on Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. I just want to give you some of the symptoms. So there's fistulas. Sometimes ulcers can extend completely through the intestinal walls, creating a fistula and a normal connection between different body parts. Fistulas can develop between your intestines and your skin, and between your intestines and another organ. Fistulas near and around anal area, perianal are the most common kind. When fistulas develop in the abdominal, foods may bypass areas of the bowel that are necessary for absorption. Fistulas may form between loops of bowel in the bladder or vagina through the skin, causing continuous drainage of the bowel contents to your skin. In some cases, a fistula may become infected and form an abscess, which can be life-threatening if not treated. And then a fissure, this is a small tear in the tissue lines the anus or the line around the anus where the anus or the skin around the anus where infections can occur. It's often associated with painful bowel movements and may lead to perianal fistula. And the perianal area is kind of like your butthole, like your gooch, your butthole gooch. That's like the perianal area. Ulcerative colitis. We don't want to leave me out of this, you know what I'm saying? Because this is what I got. Mayo Clinic is literally the same thing, but I feel like it's more sense of urgency, more blood. Okay, so this one is ulcerative colitis symptoms may vary due depending on the severity of inflammation and where it occurs. Yes, 100%, because in the beginning of my journey, sense of urgency was the fucking worst. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything. My anxiety was through the roof. I remember that for a whole year I did not drive. I did not drive anywhere myself because my sense of urgency was so bad that like it made me extremely anxious, and I just had to go at least like 25 to 30 times a day. Yeah, it was fucking bad. And I would always think like what would happen if I would be driving and I have a panic attack because I have to poop, or a poop attack and I can't hold it. You know what I'm saying? So I was just avoiding the whole thing in general. Diarrhea often comes with blood or pus. hmm Abdominal pain and cramping, yes. Rectal pain, rectal bleeding, yes. Passing small amount of blood with stool, Urgency to defecate, yep. Sense of urgency. Inability to defecate despite urgency, yes. Yes, yo, and that comes with the abdominal pain and cramping and the blood, and like you sense like you have to go but you can't go, but sometimes you're just going, and like all that you're pushing is blood and mucus. You're not going, you're just pushing blood and mucus, and it's causing you to go. It's bad when your UC is flaring bad. Weight loss, yep. Fever. I haven't really, yeah, I've had a fever, but I don't want to say it's because of my UC. There's different types of colitises because on different areas of your colon where it can affect. Like you see this right here, like this right here has different areas, right? So inflammation is confined to the areas closest to the anus, and the rectal bleeding may be the only sign of the disease. Okay. Inflammation involves the rectum and sigmoid colon, the lower end Signs, symptoms include bloody diarrhea, abdominal cramps and pain, and the inability to move bowels in spite of the urge to do so. I feel like I have this one. This type often affects the entire colon and causes bouts of bloody diarrhea that may be severe abdominal cramping and pain, fatigue, and significant weight loss. This is most likely what I don't know if you could like go backwards in severity because at one point where I had like three different infections and I was flaring hard as fuck. I had severe bloody diarrhea. I had intense abdominal pains and cramping and extreme fatigue and significant weight loss. I lost like 30 fucking pounds, yo, in the span of like couple months. Like I was barely eating. I wonder if I had pancolitis during that time, and as my colon healed or my colitis healed a little bit, it went, the disease went backwards. But is that possible? Can the disease go backwards and fully heal? Yeah, I mean, it should. Obviously, that's how you get into remission. Okay. All right. So you guys know ulcerative colitis is nothing to joke about. It's something really serious. It's something that I live with. It's a daily thing. Um, I lost my place. I don't know where I'm at. Should have kept a little a little note. Let's read this whole shit, cause wow, wow. It's a lot. A critical, important new study by Laudis Laudisi. Sorry if I mispronounced that. ETA11 shows the consumption of the food additive maltodextrin incorporated into many processed foods leads to promotion of intestinal inflammation. These findings suggest that the broadly used food additive could be a risk factor for chronic inflammation diseases. I'll go on. Maltodextrin is a polysaccharide derived from starch hydrolysis and used as a thickener in filler processed foods. Maltodextrin is regarded an inert and generally regarded as safe by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. However, multiple studies have shown detrimental roles played by maltodextrin in the intestinal environment, suggesting that this broadly used food additive may play a role in the rapid increase in coincidence of chronic inflammation. It's oh shit. Damn, bro, I'm low key fucking. This shit fucked me up, bro. I'm low key tearing up. I'm not gonna lie. Woo! Damn, bro. It's a lot. It's a lot. Damn. Okay. All right, we'll continue, man. We'll continue. In the rapid increase incidence of chronic inflammation disorders such as inflammatory bowel disease and metabolic syndrome. In this issue of cellular and molecular gastroenterology and hepatology, added a new line into this list of evidence with investigations of the impact of maltodextrins and colitis, models of colitis. By using two different models of colitis, and the investigators found that consumption of maltodextrin exacerbated intestinal inflammation in a dose-depending manner. Mechanistically, such detrimental effects of maltodextrins were linked to activations of endoplasmic reticulum. I can't even read right now. Hold up. Fucking eyes are tearing up. Subsequent altercations in the protective mucus layer. Importantly, pharmacology inhib. Damn, bro, come on. You got this. You got this. Inhibitions of endoplasmic Reticulum stress was significant to prevent maltodextrin-induced intestinal inflammation and associated depletion in the mucus layer. Excuse me. With the appreciation that the intestinal microbiota plays a central role in intestinal inflammatory bowel disease, also investigated mucus-associated microbiota after maltodextrin consumption, although they did not observe any major altercations in the microbiota consumption, suggesting that maltodextrin-induced detrimental effects are microbiota independent and more subtle effects on the I hate saying that fucking word. Microbiota or microbial metabolites cannot be excluded and are deserving further studies. Bro, when was this published? What the fuck? Okay. Alright. Indeed, previous work has shown that maltodextrin favors biofilm formation by by Crohn's disease associated. I guess this is invasive. I can't say that. I'm just say E. coli bacteria by modifying bacterial gene expression 2 as well as micro encroachment. Microbial penetration of the normally sterile inner mucus layer in the mouse distal colon. Importantly, in addition to the use of murine model of colitis, next investigated the impact of maltodextrin may have a wild type host without genetically susceptible or induced colitis. Although maltodextrin did not induce visible levels of inflammation after 45 days of treatment, longer exposures led to development of low-grade intestinal inflammation, characterized by a subtle but nonetheless consistent increase in intestinal inflammation markers. This treatment was also associated with alterations of the protective mucus layer, ultimately leading to metabolic abnormalities as previously reported. In other models of low-grade intestinal inflammation, although these findings show that maltodextrin detrimentally impacts the intestinal environment by promoting depletion of the protective mucus layer I keep saying flavoring and favoring the development of intestinal inflammation. Interestingly, another study recently showed that artificial sweetener Splenda, which contains both sucralose and maltodextrin, pretty much sugar, impacts the intestinal microbiota in a manner that promotes Crohn's types disease genetically susceptible hosts. That's big. That's big. More studies investigating the effects of maltodextrins on the central nervous systems and behavior may shed light on yet another mechanisms by which maltodextrin promotes metabolic abnormalities. And a recent study shows that Splenda alters neural activity in the ventromedial hypothalamus in the hippocampus of rats, two areas of the brain known to play an important role in food intake, food preference, obesity, and energy homeostasis. That's really big, yo. These recent results, together with previous reports, suggest that consumptions of food additives maltodextrins may be a risk for inflammatory bowel disease prone population as well as a factor promoting chronic low-grade intestinal inflammation leading to metabolic abnormalities in the general population. Mechanistic studies are now needed to understand the mechanism by which maltodextrin detrimentally impacts the intestinal environment, since this compound is readily metabolized to glucose in the intestinal tract. Moreover, these findings, such as the concept of the U.S. and Food Drug Administration testing food additives should be performed in disease-prone and resistant models designed to defect chronic and low-grade inflammation, as well as assist the impact on the gut microbiota. Okay, Jess. I'm gonna go ahead and make this video because I've made this video a couple times, but this is just the first time off of this article. Okay, so the purpose of this video was, did I give myself IBD? Okay, now after reading that, you saw me tear up, bro. You saw me crying a little bit. You got fucking real, man. Excuse me. It feels like I did. It feels like I gave myself IBD. And I'm gonna go ahead and break it down to you why. Okay, you know me, CJ Papuro was in the military. I was drinking a lot.
Move nigga.
Um,
But I'm a ninja.
and if you know drinking, the impact on the gut, you know what I'm saying? I was drinking mostly on empty stomach, right? So I wanted to look up the the effect it has on your stomach. It says you absorb 20% of alcohol. Okay, you absorb 20% of alcohol into your bloodstream through your stomach and the rest into your bloodstream through your small intestine. Drinking a small amount of alcohol stimulates your appetite because it increases the flow of stomach juices. A large amount of alcohol dulls your appetite and can cause malnutrition. You can also develop stomach ulcers by drinking too much alcohol. This can happen when the stimulated gastric juices mix with the high alcohol content and irritate. In the military, I was stationed in 29 Palms. If you know 29 Palms, it's a desert. And if you know the desert, deserts generally have nothing there, so there's nothing to do out there but drink. And that's what we did. We drank. And then on deployment, we drank even more. And that's where we became, or that's where I truly became an alcoholic. That's where I truly started drinking almost every day because, of the environmental stress that was going on. I was in Okinawa, like the hot ass sun, either drenched in sweat or drenched in rain. That's how humid it was. And it was a tough time mentally and physically. A lot of let's just go out and say it's slave work out there busting track, you know. But it was a good time. I liked Japan. Um, outside of work, when we would go out in the field or do like training exercises, we'd eat things called MREs, and MREs are things called meals ready to eat. Come in little packages. They look like this. On the inside, they have little stuff like this. Pretty much have like a little candy, little bag with your little hot sauce, salt, pepper, a little napkin and stuff like that. And then you got your utensils here. Got your heater, your main joint. I don't know what that is. It says something shrimp jambalaya. That's kind of gross. I think one of them's uh, a bread and a beverage, and then a cheese, and then the heater. All right, but those back you the fuck up. I'll tell you that. The reason that they give you that shit in the field is so that you don't fucking poop. Because it has like low fiber in it and stuff like that, right? And like they low key make you constipated. That's why right here it says, do MREs make you constipated? Their low dietary fiber content could cause constipation in some. So they were also known as meals requiring enemas, meals refusing to exit, meals refusing to excrete. Damn. Or massive rectal explosions. Like, I'll tell you what, like, TMI, but like, the shits after the field, those were the best fucking shits because you would literally hold that until like you got back to Garrison. Like, there was times where I didn't poop for like, what was it, like almost like a week. Like, that's how bad I didn't want to go to poop. That's how bad I didn't want to poop out in the field. But sometimes when you gotta go, you gotta go. Let's read this. We found that meals ready to eat does not increase gut leakiness, does not approve or God damn, I can't read, gents. Give me a break. Give me a break. Let me drink some water real quick. And if you haven't yet, while I'm drinking some water, go ahead and smash that like button. Go ahead, subscribe too while you're at it. Follow me on my health journey, all right? Smoking, drinking. I don't drink anymore. Smoking and fitness, bro. That's all I'm gonna be about in IBD, educating. So we found that MRAs does not contain gut leakiness or does not increase gut leakiness, does not appear to negatively impact the gut health, and has only subtle effects on the gut microbiome. But even the slight, tiny effect of the gut microbiome changes a lot of things because the gut microbiome affects a good amount of things. All right, gents. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap the video up with some facts. Um, my main whole argument was that if I gave myself IBD, I talked about how drinking can affect and change your gut microbiome, and how prolonged drinking and heavy drinking can, damage your gut lining and give you ulcers. One thing I want to say is, can you drink alcohol with ulcerative colitis? And I haven't been drinking alcohol. I've completely quit. I've learned the hard way. It says right here that alcohol does not cause ulcerative colitis, put you at risk for, or make you more likely to get ulcerative colitis, but drinking alcohol can still have negative effects on the condition and worsen symptoms. Um, Also, drinking carbonated drinks, um, like beer, can make you gassy. Also, alcohol can cause bleeding in your gut if you have IBD, especially ulcerative colitis. And I can tell you that for a fact because I remember it was New Year's and it was 2018 turning into 2019, and I had a bottle of Blue Label and I drank about a good amount. It was a little bit under half of the bottle and I killed it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the time I had drinking. It was fun. I missed it, but I enjoyed that time for around 1 hour and 30 minutes, maybe until it hit. When it hit hard. Okay. When I say I had like this burning feeling in my stomach, like my stomach was burning, and then like I was just like blood cramping, bloody diarrhea, mucus. Yeah, it was pretty bad. Um, that caused me not to want to drink liquor anymore. I don't think I've drinking liquor since then. Beer is another story. I drank beer, I think last year on July. I had a one beer. I think it was the 4th of July. I had one beer at a barbecue. That definitely made me gassy. I was in the bathroom for at least like 15 minutes just pushing out gas and mucus. Small amount of blood, but not that much. Gas with IBD, when the gas passes through your colon, I guess it irritates it and can cause, ulcers and cause it to bleed. That's just my perception of what's going on from when I have a lot of gas and it causes me to bleed. This right here says that it doesn't make you more likely to get it, doesn't put you at risk for it, but it can still negatively affect you. But my argument in that is prolonged use of alcohol, or pretty much just abusing alcohol, and then plus, you know, a big cycle of maltodextrin, like I did inside the military and outside the military year round. So I was on maltodextrin for a good minute, and it shows here this fucking article, educational article, says that, to conclude, these results, together with previous reports, suggest that consumption of the food additive maltodextrin may be a risk for the inflammatory bowel disease prone population. And I feel like that's honestly what kind of got me. So, the maltodextrin bulking cycle, the prolonged use of alcohol in the military and out, maltodextrin inside the military and out, and then lastly, genetics. I'm just going to go ahead and say, no, I'm going to say two more factors. the military itself and the environmental and stressful factors, um, diet and lifestyle inside the military and out, genetics. So I'm not gonna say that anybody in my family is officially diagnosed other than myself because I don't know of anybody. They haven't come out and talked about it. I've known that I've had family members who've had symptoms like blood and stool, and I see IBD symptoms in my parents, brain fog, but that's my dad, he's old. Um, and my mom, I see it in my mom, I see brain fog, I see maybe like gastritis symptoms, IBD, IBS symptoms, but she's too hard-headed to get checked. I feel like, yeah, I did get some of their symptoms, but all of those combined with genetics, you know, just made it so I got IBD faster in a sense. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like maybe I was more, you know, I'm sorry, hold up. Like, right here, like, it literally says studies investigating the effects of malnutrition, blah, blah, blah. No, no, no. Where is it? Something talking about, like, the environment and how, right here. Although malnutrition did not induce visible levels of intestinal inflammation after 45 days of treatment. Longer exposure led to development of low-grade intestinal inflammation, characterized by subtle but nonetheless consistent increase in intestinal inflammation. We gotta, get that shit regulated and get that shit looked at because they're putting that shit in a lot of things. Just the other day, I had fucking. This is how I found out maltodextrin had wheat in it. So I had plantains, a bag of plantains, right? And on the back, the ingredients were like salt, pepper, and then it said something, 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 maltodextrin. And when I saw maltodextrin, I didn't look it up. I was just like, these are plantains. They couldn't possibly fuck me up, bro, because I eat plantains almost every day, right? Wrong. That should rip me a fucking new one. It ripped me a new one. And when I say blood and mucus and sense of urgency returned for like a day or two, it did. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, there has to be something that can be done to educate people about the things that they're eating because you have to do your research or the things that you're consuming and putting in your body because holy fuck, man, if I would have known about, you know, maltodextrin back when I was bulking, you know what I'm saying? Like back then, you don't think of these things because you see so many people do it and go through it and you see the results from them, but everybody's different. You know what I mean? Everybody thinks that they're the exception, right? That's what I thought. I thought that I was the exception. I thought that I was going to be able to do what everybody else was able to do, use mass gainer to bolt. And I did it wrong, I guess. I fucked it up and I'm just gonna say it's on me. I didn't do no research. I was young and dumb. I'm not gonna blame maltodextrin for giving me IBD. I'm not gonna blame myself for, getting it. Bound to happen. I just feel like maltodextrin, genetics, and alcohol, they all exasperated, how fast I got it. You know what I mean? So, if you made it to the end of the video, gents, this is a long one and I'm barely gonna edit it, but let me know what's up, man. What do you guys think? Do you think it's possible to give yourself IBD? Also, to give someone IBD as in pass it down, like genetics. It is said that if a parent or both parents have IBD, there's a increased chance of the child getting it. That's all I got for you guys today. Much love, and I'll catch you in my next video.